Hello, YouTube, and you are tuned into Far Science Show, broadcasting live from my room. Woo! So, if you guys haven't been able to tell from the title of this video is all about what is tape and how does it work. So, tape is something that pretty much all of us have seen if you've been around since 1925, which is when it was invented by America. Go USA! So you've seen different types of tape, such as Scotch tape, satin tape, double back tape, duct tape, electrical tape, videotape, whatnot. And there are a lot of different things that go into tape. So one of the questions is, how does tape work and why does tape weaken over time? And so hopefully this video will be able to answer your question. So let me give you a general overview of what tape is. Yes, you know what tape is, but do you know what tape is? Tape is a substance that's made out of many, many different types of layers. So you have a backing, a primer, an adhesive, and a release coating. So your backing is going to be anything like paper or types of plastic such as polyethylene or vinyl. And you guys have seen that when you have Scotch tape, you have like the plastic backing, or you've seen some tapes that have paper backing, or you've seen duct tape which has a much thicker backing. And that basically makes it so that you're not going to stick to the tape. Then you also have a release coating that's added to the mixture, and the release coating makes sure that the tape doesn't actually stick to itself, so it helps it release. In most industrial applications, the type of release coating that's used is called polyvinyl carbamide. Then you have a primer, and your primer is going to make sure that your adhesive will stick to the backing. So, for all of you ladies out there who have used makeup, most of you guys have used a primer to use it as a buffer between your skin and your makeup. So, a primer for tape does something similar. And then you have the adhesives, which makes it stick, gets you into sticky situations, etc., and so on. And adhesives are made of a different type of polymer, different types of polymer blends. Depending on what brand makes them, they can be anything from water-based acrylics or something else, and then you can also have some other things that are added to the adhesive to make it stickier. So, tape is a certain type of adhesive because you guys have all used glue sticks, etc., and so on, which is a type of adhesive. And adhesion happens when you have dissimilar particles that are going to attach to one another. And this happens in a lot of different things, including milk. You'll have binding agents such as casein, which acts as an adhesive agent to make things stick together. Or you might have eggs inside of something that you're baking, and so your eggs can make your water and your oil stick together, and then you'll actually be able to have something that's not water and oil. So tape makes stuff stick together. So it's a pressure-based adhesive, which means that the more pressure that you apply to it, the better it's going to stick. And you might ask, why? Why does this happen? And to tell you the truth, a lot of scientists aren't completely sure, but some scientists have speculated that it has to do with van der Waals interactions. So you guys who haven't taken chemistry in a while, or you guys who haven't taken chemistry at all, are probably like, oh, van der Waals interaction, what are those? So van der Waals interactions occur between different molecules. So you'll have an attractive and a repulsive force, and that happens when you're having any type of adhesion. So there are a variety of different things that influence how well tape can stick to a substance, including the temperature. So tape tends to work better at room temperature between 60 to 80 degrees, but as you get colder or as you get warmer, it's harder for the adhesive to stick to whatever surface, or scientifically a substrate, that you're trying to get it to stick to. So that's why some of the polymers might not be as effective in certain temperatures. Then you also have moisture that plays a big role in this. So when you're working with tape, a lot of the polymers that you're using aren't going to be moisture friendly, with the exception of maybe duct tape or some tape that is specifically made for water, because the moisture or the water can interfere with the bonding. So you have this surface here, We'll imagine this to be moisture, and this is the tape. So it's preventing the actual substrate from being able to bond. So the moisture has a big influence on that. And then you also have surface area, which logically makes sense because the bigger your surface area, the more chances that you'll be able to stick to something are. So to answer your question about how does tape weaken over time, that has to do with the actual property of the polymers, which are making everything stick together. So as the polymers are getting older, they tend to weaken or they tend to break, and they won't be as sticky. So if you have something that's going to try and get rid of the polymers, such as Goo Gone, that's basically dissolving the polymers in there to make them no longer functional. And as a side note, if you guys are interested, I'm going to talk about Gecko tape, which is something that is really recent that's been discovered, and I think it's very pertinent to this topic. So Gecko tape is a certain type of biomimicry, which means that it's based off of something in nature, and it's based off of gecko's feet. And gecko's feet have microscopic hair that is called setae, I think, and they're really, really microscopic hairs, and they're able to adhere to certain surfaces very, very well because of the van der Waals interactions that they have. Gecko have many small microscopic hair on their feet, and when they're on a surface, they're able to stick to it. And so the amount of van der Waals interactions is increased exponentially because there are so many small hairs. But the gecko is able to actually free itself from whatever place it's at with a different angle. So scientists right now are trying to mimic gecko's feet by making something called gecko tape. And that has to go, again, with van der Waals interactions and forces. So hopefully that answers your question about what tape is, why it weakens, and hopefully you won't get in any more sticky situations. Remember to ask questions. I'll try to answer them as frequently as possible, and subscribe. Thanks!